Yo people, welcome back to the channel. So today I got Ryan Matter TV on Huddersfield fan. We're just going to discuss transfers of the championship and lower leagues. So yeah, apologies for my air is crazy. Apologies people. But yeah, Ryan, tell the people how you are doing.
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Yeah, great to be back on the channel as always. It's always great to speak to you, as you know. So I really appreciate you having me on. So yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of speaking about these, transfer speculation.
Yeah, I know the Premier League transfer window is crazy, but while preparing for this show, I have seen some mad stuff, mad rumors and stuff that's happened. So let's get into it. Let me just. So we're looking at done deals. So and you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I can see it.
So this article is 31st of May. So English Football League, new Courtney Baker, Richardson, Newport, Turku, and Mo Sanger, Newcastle, Accrington. Do you know any of these players, Ryan? I'm going to ask you that first.
I would say no, I've not heard. I know that the Mo Sangara from Newcastle. He kind of was in the academy system at Newcastle, and he never appeared for the first team, but he was predominantly in the under-23s. Obviously, he plays in central midfield, so he's one of those kind of tries to create chances. So yeah, I think that's a good move for him, because obviously he's not getting a look in at Newcastle, and he's at an age now where he wants to be playing week in, week out. Obviously, he's 23 now, so he's wanting to play senior football. So yeah, brilliant move. But I've not heard of Courtney Baker Richardson, I'm afraid. So yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Peter Jameson to Arrogate, and pretty something to each week. So
yeah, Freddie Ladapo, who actually, I know a bit about Freddie. I think he's a striker. He's a very good goal scorer. Scored a lot of goals for Rotherham. I knew that they kind of loved him at Rotherham, and he's stepped up. Well, you could say, yeah. In all due respects to Rotherham, I think it is a step up to go to Ipswich, even though Ipswich maybe. But I think that it's a good move for Ipswich. I think that they've been lacking a goal scorer. But yeah, I like Ladapo. I think that at one point we were linked with him, and I would have been happy to take him. A number of years ago, it would have probably out one a few years back now. But yeah, very good striker for me.
Yeah, then you got Ryan East from Sunderland to Bradford. Will Evans from Bala to Newport, Ben something from Brentford to Tranmere Rovers. I know the Tranmere Rovers, so and something to Walsall. I don't know. Do you know?
Are you seen McEntee? Yeah, it's a bit of it, yeah.
And then, of course, Cal Naismith from Luton to Bristol City, and Connor Washington from Charlton to Rotterdam. And I'm not going to do the Scottish Premiership. So I know Naismith.
Yeah, Naismith. I know Connor Washington. I think obviously he's played for QPR at one point as well, before obviously going to Charlton. Yeah, Connor is a great player. Obviously, he's another kind of attacking player. I mean, his dad's he's kind of just had the 2 years at Charlton. He's had a few injury issues, but in kind of got some stats here. 71 appearances, he scored 22 goals. It's not that great, but I think that sometimes you just got to step away from a football club and go again and start again. And I do like Conor Washington. I know that he's had numerous appearances for Northern Ireland as well. I've seen him a few times. I think he's looked quite lively at times. So yeah, a great signing for Rotherham, obviously, because they lost Ladapo. They've obviously brought Conor Washington in to replace him. So yeah, he'll be definitely one that will be playing week in, week out next season. Naismith. I was surprised that Naismith actually moved from Luton to Bristol, because I think that's a downgrade, don't you? Because obviously Luton, where they finished last season, and Bristol.
For me,
yeah, Bristol.
That's a downgrade to Bristol City. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, because on recent seasons, Bristol are always down that bottom half of the table. I mean, I'm not saying that they're always going to be there, but it was a strange move because I thought Naismith were fairly happy at Luton. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. Was a bit. It came as a shock for most people. Didn't it, at Luton? To be honest with you, didn't expect that transfer. But yeah.
And I don't. And Luton didn't expect it either. They were also in shock. They agreed a deal, but yeah. One thing I could say, he wasn't the best player, but he was a good player for them.
Yeah, I mean, he seemed to be in the team most week. He seemed to be playing most weeks, so presumed he was one of their key players. But I'm surprised that he went for free. Did his contract run right down? Is that why he went for free or something? He must have done. He must have done, yeah, which is surprising. Maybe Luton couldn't agree terms with him. Maybe it was the money. Maybe it was money. Money situation. Anyway.
James Bowen from Cardiff to Newport. Liam Gordon from Bolton to Walsall, and Sean Rooney from St Johnstone to Fleetwood, and Danny Rose from Northampton to something.
Stevenage. To be honest, I don't know much about these players. To be honest with you, so yeah, that's a bit of a.
Yeah.
But I mean,
if neither of us know, then we can't say anything on it. So
see, a lot of these players, I mean, it hasn't actually. I mean, I could talk about signings that we've made if you wish. We brought in because that isn't even on the list, to be honest with you, and I don't know why. 1 minute. Will Boyle's come back to the club to Huddersfield. He spent 5 years in our academy, and then he joined Cheltenham in 2017, and he's kind of developed his game over the last few years, and we've decided to bring him back and really put him into the first team now. So I'm really excited to see what he can produce, to be honest with you. I think that he will offer. He's that no-nonsense defender again, like we have with Matty Pearson. And it's important to have those kind of defenders in your team. So yeah, I'm excited to see him back at the club and see what he can do, because I saw him quite a lot in the academy, because obviously me following the academy as well. He impressed me, and obviously when he went to Cheltenham, I wished him all the best, kind of thing. But yeah, it's great to have him back, and I'm really keen to see how he progresses. But yeah, that's from our point. That's the only signing we've made so far, and we're looking to bring in another player as well. But I won't go into that.
And Jamalu Collins from Cardiff. Then Kelvin Mello from. Can you pronounce his club's name? Because I can't.
Kelvin Miller and Jake Young. Carlisle. Carlisle to Crewe. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then Jake Young from Forest Green to Bradford. So that's interesting. Know any of these players? So I honestly, I don't. I'm just here to report it, and if Ryan knows them, he will say something.
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, Jamilu Collins. Obviously, he's a left back. Cardiff are looking to kind of improve that defensive line, I suppose. He's 27, and yeah, he's never been in England before. He's kind of gone from Germany to, what was this now? But I'm not sure. Like I say, he's never been in England before, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on. And obviously, Jake Young from Forest Green to Bradford. I think he was kind of on the fringes of Forest Green's team, wasn't he? I mean, I can just quickly look a moment because let's just see. He was very, very much a fringe player really for Forest Green because he only played 22 times. He's where does he play? Let me just have a look. Oh, he's only 20 as well. It's good, kind of see how he can develop. And he's actually from Huddersfield. I've never actually heard of him though. So maybe he's come back home. Obviously, Bradford, if you don't know, Bradford's near Huddersfield. So maybe he wants to come back close to his family. He's a forward. So it looks like an exciting signing for Bradford, actually. But yeah, I didn't know he was from Huddersfield. I've learned something new tonight. He's kind of been in Yorkshire predominantly as well, by the way. He went before he was at Guiseley, which is a team near Bradford. And then he was at Sheffield United for a short spell. And then obviously went to Forest Green. And in fact, kind of, scored 9 goals. And he actually played a lot of games, actually. Interesting. But yeah, anyway, that's it for me. I don't know anything else about it. I don't know Kelvin Miller. Don't know.
Yeah. And of course, we got Connor Thomas from Charlton Athletic to Crewe, and Owen Maxon from Anna Athletic to Carlos O. Harrison Biggins Fleetwood to Doncaster. Yeah. No, any?
To be honest with you, I know that he has had a lot of issues. This guy, Connor Thomas, Connor Thomas had a lot of issues with injury. I mean, with getting to kind of in the last 4 years, mind you, in fact, previously, like in his early career, he struggled with injury, didn't really play much. But at Cheltenham, he played a lot. And he scored 18 goals in his 4-year spell at Cheltenham, kind of making over 100 appearances. He's a midfielder. He's quite tall, but he's 28. And yeah, it's one of those, like I say, is not really know much about anybody else really, but that one. Yeah.
Harrison, I know he has played 23 games in League One for Fleetwood. He scored 5 goals to assist. He is a midfielder. He's 26 years of age, so yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, if you guys know any of these players, tell us in the comments about them, of course, because then we can also learn a bit more of not just Premier League players. So then it will.
Let's have a look here. James Holden, Reading to Cambridge. I believe that he was actually at Bury before they it was before they kind of obviously lost the football club. Obviously, it's come back now, Bury Football Club. But then he kind of went to kind of Reading in 2019. But he was still a scholar at that point, which means he was still kind of learning the game. He was kind of a youngster at that point, obviously, and then he signed a proper professional contract, a 1 year in July 2020, Had a few loans out trying to get experience, but he's a goalkeeper as well. So yeah, I mean, this guy obviously still fairly young as well, only 21. And yeah, it seems like he's got a lot of potential, but he's just not found that right move yet. So I think that going to Cambridge, going lower down, getting more of a chance to maybe playing, that'll definitely help his development for sure. But yeah.
Yeah, and then Ollie Tanner from to Cardiff. Now he's 20 years old. He's a winger. He featured for Arsenal and Charlton Athletic.
Yeah.
In his academy days. Yeah, basically everything I know about him. And Richard or Donald, I think if I pronounce it right. Do you know?
Yeah, you did.
Then Jack Alnwick, any ring a bell?
Probably not. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't really watch much Scottish football because obviously St Mary's in Scotland. So yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. I mean, if we look at Harry Lewis, is he a youngster, Harry Lewis? Let me
check.
I think he probably will be. Is it a loan now? Is it? Oh no, it's free.
Harry Lewis. Harry Lewis.
He's a goalkeeper. So again, Brad looking to get a goalkeeper in. He's 24. And yeah, he seems to have let's have a look at his kind of journey. He started at Southampton, has made no appearances for them since 2016. He went out to Dundee from 2017 to 2018 on loan, made 30 appearances. But it looks like he's had a lot of injury issues because he hasn't had much history since 2018. Unless he's just not played and he's not kind of moved in. So yeah, it looks like obviously he's wanting to start fresh somewhere else, which is good news for him.
Yeah, and Mark Sykes, he's 24 years old. He's a midfielder. The last campaign he had 16 goals of 8. He had 16 goal contributions, and then how long is this?
Yeah, I mean that. Who's it?
Okay, so Naeem Adams.
Ebu Adams, obviously. Yeah, I've kind of watched any football in England, really. So, obviously, I've seen a bit of Forest Green. Now, this guy, obviously, is a midfielder, 26. He's kind of been around the bottom half of the league, if you could say so. Like obviously, League Two. He's been he started off at Dartford, so he's been in the Conference, League Two, and around that area really. And obviously, he's kind of gone to Cardiff, so it'd be interesting to see how he gets on. But he's kind of worked his way up from the bottom, obviously from a conference team to Football League side, and obviously he actually reached League One with Shrewsbury at one point. But yeah, exciting kind of prospect for Cardiff. Again, they seem to be making a lot of signings Cardiff early on, which is good. It's always good to get your business done early. So yeah, fair play to them.
Yeah, and then you got Jordan Shipley from Coventry to Shrewsbury. Now,
yeah. I mean, he seems to be. To be honest with you, I think he's one of those that came. Obviously we played Coventry this season. I think he was one of those that came off the bench at times, but didn't really feature much at all. He was more of a kind of very fringe player, if you could say so. So he's obviously looked to move and try and get some more game time. Obviously, we're going too far down though, aren't we? Because hang on. Yeah, so don't go to obviously the 1st of May. Obviously, that one was he's already gone back to Hull now.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you go 4th of May, I suppose.
Just to like.
Oh no, 8th of May. Sorry. I mean, I don't know any of those, but Jack Airedale, Cambridge to Bolton.
No, I think we stopped there. We stopped there because.
Yeah, this is not good. We don't really know many of these players. It's not good, is it? But I know we'll just have to.
But no, so this news I know. Let me just. I'm going to share with you guys another screen. I have. But what I do know is that that Gareth Bale to Cardiff City. Now, I don't know if you guys heard, but the Cardiff City chairman, I can bring this up. I can see. Okay. So Cardiff City chairman has flown into the UK to try and tempt Gareth Bale to move to the Wales capital this summer. So Cardiff are looking like now I know. So yeah, Cardiff City chairman has flown into the UK to try and tempt Gareth Bale with a move to the Welsh capital this summer. Ryan, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would be a big story if this happens, won't it? Because if you think about how let's be honest, when Gareth Bale went to Real Madrid, there was all that excitement around him, and obviously it looks like kind of take his career to the next level, but it just hasn't worked, has it, at Real Madrid at all? And obviously he's just been kind of not been playing at all much lately either. But specifically going to Cardiff, I can definitely see it happening. I really can, because it's his. Obviously it's his where he's from, Wales, and obviously in the capital as well. But Gareth Bale going to, in all due respects to Car, I mean, I still think he can do a job in the Premier League, because if you look at how he kind of, at Tottenham as well, especially, Tottenham, the form he showed at Tottenham was absolutely outstanding. You remember them goals in the Champions League and things like that. And, he has had a journey where it's been very stop-start, unfortunately. Obviously, going to Real Madrid, I know it's easy to say in hindsight now, but it was the worst possible thing he could have done, because he just didn't settle there at all. He really didn't. And he didn't have a great relationship with the fans at all either. And yeah, it was just a disaster, wasn't it? He's wasted a number of years at Real Madrid. Okay, at the start, he was probably playing a lot more than he did in this last season or so. But even so, he's not really. He's nowhere near lived up to the heights that was expected of him. So going to Cardiff, yeah, I can definitely see it. But if and it would be a massive coup for Cardiff to get Gareth Bale in, by the way. And it could potentially maybe attract a few more because of Gareth Bale. Having that figure in the dressing room, everybody will want to come to Cardiff and play with him, if you could say so. So, yeah, very interesting. This rumour's been around for so long, by the way. It kind of developed when the season was happening. So, and yeah, I can definitely see it happening. But yeah, don't know what else to say about the signing really. But good luck to him.
Yeah, sorry I left you there on the spot.
No.
Yeah, for me, if Gareth Bale went to what's it called? To
Cardiff.
Cardiff, yeah. I think it will be like I said, if he wants to be a big thing, I think he should go to Tottenham. But if he
Yeah,
wants to end his career relaxing and everything, and wants game time, go to Cardiff City. Now this news broke that Bryce Samba, has told the club that he wants to leave the summer. Now I know he's a big keeper for Nottingham Forest, but that's what I have heard.
yeah, yeah. Obviously, he was the key. Obviously, number one goal he wanted this season. This season just gone. So that was very surprising, that isn't it? But obviously, there seems to be problems with the wage salary that he's wanting, and they're not prepared to offer it him. So I don't blame Forest really, because a lot of clubs kind of surrender to these players that say, "Oh, I want this wage." But the reality is, just because you've got the Premier League doesn't mean you've got the kind of what's the word? You've got the kind of right to say, "I want this salary." You know what I mean? So they've stood the ground, Nottingham Forest, and that's what they've done. Obviously, if he's not prepared to sign it, then let him move on because he's clearly not interested for them.
Okay. So we have 10 minutes left, guys, because of stupid Zoom. So yeah, we're just going straight through the players released by each team. So do you know any of these players from Barnsley?
No, I do not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think there were a lot of fringe players then, obviously, right? So, I mean, I do know a few of these Birmingham players, though. Jeremy Bella, I mean, he's been at the club for a while, but he's not really kind of, he kind of had a bit, he was a bit inconsistent from my understanding. He was. Christian Pedersen, I think he was another one that I kind of heard of, but not sure much about him. Johan Zahar, he was a striker, I believe, but he couldn't. He didn't really work out there. But yeah, let's have a look. Blackburn, this is getting more promising. Bradley Johnson, now obviously Bradley Johnson, ex-Leeds United player. He has had his injury issues over the years, and yeah, Blackburn have kind of just let him go now. I know Bradley Johnson is, very well, obviously being at different clubs. But yeah, that's not surprising, really.
Guys, I don't know any of these players. I will tell you when I know some of these players. This is Blackpool, by the way, guys.
I'm not sure about any of those, to be honest with you, I'm afraid.
Okay, but you guys can see the names, so
yeah.
And then now this is
I'll let you take off this one because
now Gary Cahill, of course, from a Chelsea player, have went to Crystal Palace, now at Bournemouth. I think his career has ended sadly. If you look at Crystal Palace, he done something. I think he done good there at Crystal Palace. Now to Bournemouth, it doesn't look like he is doing good. And I know. Let me just Ryan Glover. I know. I just want to get my stats right. So he has been there since the 2009-10 season. Ryan Glover, this player. No, it doesn't want to give me. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I know he's a winger. Yeah, he's a right winger. He still quite young, 21 years old. So right winger hasn't started this month. I don't think he has started this season. He yeah in his loan has basically ended. That's why he left it. Bristol City. This is where you take away.
Yeah, I know a few. I know Callum O'Dowda. He was a player that actually, when he's played, I think I've really liked the look of him. To be honest with you, he's a left winger. He's 27, and yeah, I think that this season, he's kind of been a fringe player though. But when he's got a chance, he's kind of yeah, I've liked the look of him, to be honest with you, but he's only played 20 games this season, so it kind of tells you all you need to know. But yeah, kind of good player, but unfortunately, just hasn't worked at Bristol.
Coventry City.
Yeah, Jody Jones. Now, Jody Jones, I believe he was at the club for quite a number of years, actually, wasn't he? Let me just have a look quickly for you. He spends 6 years at Coventry. Maybe a few injury problems. He's only played 70 times in 6 years, which kind of says all you need to know, doesn't it? He's not really been able to cement his place in the team, and when he kind of maybe just being too injury prone as well, which is always an issue with some players. So yeah, and he's only 24, by the way, as well. So he's still a young lad. Obviously we're at Coventry when he was younger, but yeah. Below me there, big clear out for Fulham. Now let's have a look. Cyrus Christie, I believe, came from Coventry. There was a lot of hope about him when he signed, actually. But for whatever reason, it hasn't worked. But yeah, really good player, so I don't be surprised if someone now picks him up. Michael Hector, a centre back, with Alfie Mawson, he's another centre back. And that Jean Michael Seri, I've liked the look of it. He's always lively. He plays in midfield. He's on the wing, I think. He's always looked lively, but obviously just fell out of favour with the club, whatever. And that's all I know from that team. But yeah, Michael Hector, a tall centre back, he'll definitely be picked up. I was. Oh well, I should know a bit about these players, shouldn't I? So Vallejo, yeah, unfortunately for Vallejo, he's had so many injury issues, because it's a shame really as well, because when we saw him at times when he wasn't injured, he looked very, very good, but he just couldn't keep fit at all throughout his time. It's really disappointing, because he got the talent, but it just didn't work. Maybe the intensity, whatever, I don't know. Jamal Blackman. Now I am surprised about this one actually, because I think he was a very good backup goalkeeper. Obviously, we got him from Reading, and yeah, I'm surprised that we let him go. But maybe for whatever reason they just want to maybe look for someone else. Reece Brown as well. He's been he's been injured, but he's also been out on loan numerous times, and he's kind of not been in the picture for a while. So I'm not surprised to see him go. And now Fraser Campbell. Obviously, Fraser Campbell kind of came back to the it's his hometown club. To be fair to Fraser, fantastic work ethic, great effort all the time. Just not clinical enough in front of goal, I'm afraid. And he's a striker, and it just didn't work. It didn't. He's at an age now as well. He's getting on a bit, and yeah, he just didn't do much for me at all. So yeah, I'm not surprised. And Carol Aitin, obviously, yeah, he's not been the same in his spell. He was when we had him last time, when it was COVID. But we saw a lot of him, and he looked very good. But unfortunately, he's just not been able to get in the picture this season. So he's not really hit the ground. And finally, I will shut up in a minute. Naby Sarr. Now, Naby Sarr has actually surprised me a bit, to be honest with you, because when he's come in, I know he's not been a starter, but when he's come in, he's looked very solid. He's chipped in with a few goals, and he looked like he's improved defensively. But for whatever reason, he's decided to move on. But all the best to all the players that have decided to make way. They've been great, some of them, for us. So yeah, that's it.
I think we're just going to do to Luton, Hull City in the players.
Yeah, obviously that Tom Eves striker, I think that he, kind of been in and out of the side. I think that he's a striker, but I'm not really much know about him. Tom Huddleston, of course, we know all about Tom Huddleston, don't we? Obviously, he used to play for Tottenham once upon a time, and obviously he's had a career full of injuries as well, hasn't he? And I'm not sure what's happened to him really at Hull. I thought he was started off quite well, but I don't think he's been. He has. I don't think he's been in all season because I've not really seen much of him. Richie Smallwood, I believe he.
Okay, wait. I'm going
Not
to
sure.
stop you there because we have less than a minute.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Ryan, for joining me. And all your socials will be in the description. Everything. Ryan, what do you have got coming?
I'm going to be doing a retake. I'm going to look at, obviously, Huddersfield Town's obviously ins and outs, and kind of, I'll be doing that on Thursday actually. Be looking at who's kind of left the club and then who's coming already and who's been linked with coming into the club and who I want to see in the club. So that's kind of the video I'll be doing next on Thursday at 3:00 UK time. So please come and tune in to that. But yeah, that's it from me.
For me, Friday, 3 p.m. UK time, the redo of the biggest, baddest, greatest season review show ever. So, yeah. Thank you guys for